everyone, welcome back to another video. I am so excited because I got a new phone, so hopefully like the video quality is better. It should be, but who knows if it is. Also, before I get started with today's video, I did want to like address that I think my mom ended up watching one of the videos and she was like, oh, did you know that the video at the end overlaps? And I was like, what the heck is she talking about? And so I watched back the video and it sounds like there's like two people talking at the same time. So I don't know what's going on with that. Like I went back to watch the editing that I had done in because I've been editing the videos just on iMovie, so I went back to go watch the video on iMovie, and there's no like overlapping voices, so I don't know why it's adding overlapping voices once I upload it onto YouTube. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do with that, because like I don't know like what the problem is, or like why there's overlapping sounds once it's uploaded onto YouTube. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, so I know that's a thing in the video. I'm gonna try to fix it and see if I could upload or like just cut the parts out. I don't know, see if there's anything I could do on YouTube. And so if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think now I'm getting more into like the whole application process for med school, so a lot of the videos now are going to be more geared towards actually applying to med school and walking you through what I'm doing. Please make sure to subscribe or tell your friends if they're also interested in applying into med school to watch my videos to see if they learn anything, or if you guys have anything to add to any of the videos that I film. For today's video, so I also recently started taking Orgo 1 again. I had already taken Orgo at UIC. I took it 2 times at UIC. So the first time I failed it with a flat out F, like I did not pass it. And I retook it and I ended up passing it with a C, which, you know, it was all I needed. And then I needed to take the Orgo lab, but I ended up graduating and I ended up not taking the lab. And so I still had to take it, and it turns out community college doesn't offer the lab by itself. You have to take both courses, like the lecture and the lab. So I'm retaking Orgo again, and I'm hoping it'll be easier this semester, but Orgo's just a tough class. So I figured I would make a video for those of you taking Orgo this semester or next semester or next year, to teach you what I did wrong the first couple of times that I took Orgo and what you can do right so you can actually pass the class with the grade that you want. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's not that fun, and if you're not pre-med or if you don't have to take Orgo, you could not watch this video because it's not going to be very helpful for you.
Hey, so I realized that I'm like editing the video right now. And I realized that I didn't mention something that is kind of important. Oh my god, hold on. I look like an egg. My hair's so frizzy. Should probably pause the TV. I'm watching Law & Order. So I realized I didn't mention that I think this is kind of important, but don't be intimidated by Orgo. I feel like a lot of students go in thinking like the class is the hardest class ever. No one passes it, like it's gonna make or break my like chance to get into med school if I don't do good. And like I feel like all these fears create a lot of anxiety for students that are pre-med, and they think like just because they don't do well in this class that they're gonna like struggle their entire careers, you know? And that's not the case. Don't be scared by this class. Like, it is a prereq. You do need it. You do need it to get into medical school. But it's not bad. You just need to know how to study for it. And I feel like that's where a lot of students go wrong, because a lot of students don't know how to study well or like efficiently. And it gets harder like when you're taking other classes with it as well. So with that said, don't be scared of Orgo. Like, as long as you study and you put in the time for it and you do practice problems and you do all these things that I talk about in the video, you will be fine. You will make it out alive. It's not that bad. And also I do want to mention too as well that I didn't mention in the video is don't take it with any other difficult science classes. I wouldn't recommend taking it with anatomy that requires a lot of memorization. I wouldn't recommend taking it with physics that can also be a very like heavy workload class, like because it has a lab and you have discussions and you have to memorize stuff and you have problems and equations to memorize, I would not recommend taking it with those classes. If you want to go ahead and do it and you're not working and you're not involved in anything else and you know you can put the time into studying for multiple science classes, by any means, be my guest, go ahead and take it. But I honestly wouldn't. I would not recommend it. Take it with maybe some gen eds. Take a nice little Spanish class, take an English class. Public health classes are very fun, very informative, but they don't require that much like memorizing, and they're not very difficult in a sense. Take it with the public health course. Even some biology courses are not that bad. Like biology, your general biology is pretty simple. It is a lot of memorizing, but it's not hard material. So take it with a bio class if you still want to get science classes out of the way. But be very careful with what you pair it up with, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of commitment. That's all I have to say for now, and we can get back to the video. Sorry, I also this is the screen for my phone and the camera's over here, and it's hard to see which one to look at, so sorry if I keep looking like this way. Because I'm trying to make sure that I'm within the frame. But yeah, let's get back to the video. See ya.
So the first time around, I think the biggest mistake was not reading the lectures. Not I wasn't going through the PowerPoints or the textbook before class. I would go to class thinking that my teacher was going to teach me everything that I needed to know, and that I was going to go home and practice whatever she taught. That was the first mistake. So college is different in the sense that you do have to teach yourself a lot. And Orgo is one of those classes that you are going to have to teach yourself. And your teacher's just there to reinforce whatever you teach yourself, in a sense. Or at least that's my understanding of what I got from taking Orgo now for the third time. So if you are planning on taking the class, make sure you look at the PowerPoints before you go to class, so you know what material you're going to cover, and you can already start developing these questions that you're going to ask your teacher. If you're able to go over the PowerPoint and understand what you don't get, then your time in lecture is going to be a lot more efficient, because now you know what you want to ask your teacher. I personally didn't find reading the textbook useful, because a lot of the PowerPoints are using the textbook. So for example, even right now, the class I'm taking Orgo again, and the PowerPoints are exactly what's in the textbook. PowerPoints are a summary of what I'm reading in the textbook, which kind of makes it feel like a waste of time, especially because I have already taken this course a couple times. I already am familiar with the material, so for me that necessarily isn't too helpful. If it's the first time you're taking the class and you don't know this material, I guess you can read it to get a background understanding of it, but I wouldn't beat yourself up over not reading the textbook. But definitely look over the material before you go into class, so meaning PowerPoints. That's my first tip.
Hi, I'm back. So also, reading the textbook isn't necessarily that helpful, but doing the practice problems in the textbook and comparing it to a solution manual is super helpful. That's super important. So definitely do the practice problems in the textbook and see the solutions, but you don't really have to read any concept knowledge or stuff like that.
The second tip is practice. You have to practice all the problems that you are going through. It's not enough a lot of classes will give you problem sets. It's not enough to have the problem set and the solutions and being oh yeah, I know how they got that answer. No, don't look at the solutions. You need to do the problems by yourself And once you get your answer, compare it to the right answer and try to recognize either where you went wrong or what you did right, and understand that material. That's super important. You need to practice. That's the only way you will get really good at organic chemistry, because it's all about applications. It's not about concepts anymore. They're not teaching you like brand new ideas. It's not like biology in that sense. It's not like general chemistry 1 and 2 anymore. It's a lot more application of like the concepts that you do learn, in a sense. I don't know if that's making sense, but yeah, practice. My teacher today, we had class today, and he mentioned that Orgo is the one class that teaches you how to study, and if it doesn't teach you how to study, then you didn't do well in Orgo. And I think that was something super important, because I know when I was taking Orgo, I still had no idea how to study. Like, I would like review material maybe once, and I wouldn't necessarily practice anything that much. Like, I was the one who was looking at the problems and the solutions at the same time and being like, oh yeah, I know how they got their solution. And then I thought that like I knew everything because I knew how they got to their answer. But I didn't necessarily know how to do it on my own without like the help of seeing the solutions there. So Orgo will teach you how to study, and if you don't know how to study, it will show. So I'm going to share these tips, so hopefully that process can start up earlier and you don't end up failing the class because you didn't know how to study for it. I think the neighbors are making noise again. Anyways, just another tip. There's some things you do have to memorize. For the things that you do have to memorize, make flashcards. You have to review them over and over and over. One example is the functional groups. If you don't know your functional groups, that is a problem, and it's going to make it so much more complicated once you're towards the end of the class. You need to know what an alcohol looks like, what an ester looks like, what an ether looks like, a ketone, and your teachers will like give you a list of those, and they're going to be like, okay, you need to memorize these. Memorize those. Like, I don't care how you do it, whether it's flashcards or just rewriting them over and over, like you need to know them, and those need to be memorized. I think also a lot of teachers make problem sets optional. You should always try to do it. Like, do the problems until you can do the problems in your sleep. If you don't understand anything, ask someone. I think another resource that is pretty useful is Khan Academy. If like you don't understand an idea or a concept and it was just kind of confusing to you, go watch some videos on it so you kind of understand what the point is and what you're trying to do. That can be pretty helpful. Like, I know today we were going over IHD, and like I remember learning about it, you know, in the previous courses, but today like it kind of didn't make sense the way the teacher explained it. So now I know that I need to go to Khan Academy or just Google it. Like, what is IHDs? How do I find this out? Like, you know, like what is it? I need to like look for that on my own. Because sometimes teachers too will explain things in a way that maybe don't make it click for you right away. So it's nice to hear somebody else's explanation. So definitely, if you don't understand a concept, ask your teacher. If you still don't understand it, go look for other resources. I think that's something that I didn't do either the first time that I took the course. Like, I was like, oh yeah, my teacher explained it. Oh, I don't really get it. Okay. Next, like, let me try to learn something else. And that is not the attitude you want to have, because everything that you learn in the beginning of the course will come back to haunt you at the end of the course. Like, it's kind of like this like snowball that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're going to start off with the basics, and they're going to keep adding on, and they're going to keep adding on, and you're going to have to learn more material and more material. But in the end, everything is part of the same thing. Everything is related, and you need to know everything that you learn in the course. So that's just something really important to know. Like, this is not a course where you can ignore something you don't understand in the beginning. You need to understand everything, because it'll hurt you in the end if you don't understand something and you never asked about it. I guess just another like general tip is don't be scared to ask for help. Organic chemistry is a hard class. Like, everyone struggles with it. I know even like the students that I knew that had gotten A's in the course were like, I don't know how the heck I did that. Like, I seriously don't know how I got an A. And it's because it gets hard. It's a really tough class. And so again, like, reach out to your professors. If you don't understand an idea, like, reach out as fast as you can. Like, do not waste time, because the course is very fast paced. You learn something new every week, and for many of the courses you do have, or like for many of the organic chemistry classes, you do have weekly quizzes. So they're going to be testing you on this knowledge weekly, because like I mentioned, it's everything you learn in the beginning, you use at the end. There's nothing that you won't see again. So teachers know that, and they want to make sure you're staying on track. So they'll do weekly quizzes to make sure that you're understanding the material and that you're getting practice with it. So you have to reach out for help as soon as you know you don't understand anything. You can reach out to your classmates too. Sometimes it's easier to reach out to classmates because they can explain it in ways that make more sense to you, like in your terminology. Sometimes when we talk to professors, they know the material so well, it's kind of hard for them to dumb it down. Obviously, they might get some practice because they are professors and they've taught students for years. So, you know, your professor might be able to like dumb it down for you. But sometimes they don't know how, and they'll make you feel stupid. Like, they'll be like, oh, like, how do you not know this idea? Like, this idea is so easy. Like, it's such an easy concept. Like, how do you not understand it? And so when that happens, reach out to someone else. Like, don't be intimidated by your professor, but maybe try to find someone else, or again, online resources where someone can explain it in terms that make sense to you.
I am doing so many add-ins today. I'm so tired, guys. But also, if you are not struggling in the beginning, don't get cocky. A lot of the first couple weeks, it's a lot of review of general chemistry too, because they want to make sure you understand everything. So you're going to go over Lewis dot structures and like different compounds and the periodic table. Don't let that get to your head. I think that also that's where I went wrong too when I took the course for the first time, because I was like, oh, Orgo, this is so easy. Like, I don't need to study. Like, I understand this. And then I got hit like a truck when I didn't understand something, or like it started getting hard all of a sudden and I wasn't like prepared to study for it. Like, everything just went wrong. So if you understand the beginning, don't let it get to your head. Like, still try to review, make sure you understand it, keep doing practice problems. Don't let it get to your head.
I think that's it. Yeah, I guess to sum it up, read the material before attending class so you know what you're going to cover. You have to practice. You have to do a lot of practice problems. You can't get away with just doing a couple practice problems. No, like, you have to basically do it in your sleep. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Your professors are always there to help you out. TAs are always there to help you out. Ask classmates if you're struggling as well. And also, don't be afraid to look for other resources like Khan Academy, or I know there's some other like really good like YouTube videos of people in chemistry. I don't know off the top of my head, but I can try to find some links and put them in the description box below. So if you are struggling with organic chem, or you think you might struggle, make sure to check out those videos, or at least those channels of people who are experts in organic chemistry and can maybe explain it in simpler terms. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video is helpful if you are taking organic chemistry or plan to take it and you want to know how to prepare for it. Feel free to, if you ever have any questions on like organic chemistry, or like you're taking the course this semester as well, feel free to like message me if you have any questions or you need me to like help guide you. Like, I'm human too, I'm a student too, so I might not get everything, but I've already seen this material again a few times. So for the most part, I've seen everything and I understand everything. My problem was always like being able to apply it in like constrained times, and like you get all anxious when you're taking your test and you forget things. So that was my problem, because like practicing enough problems will get rid of like this anxiety, and like you'll be less nervous to take tests if you've already seen the material enough times and practiced it. That's why I say practice it. But yeah, feel free to text me any questions that you have, or if you ever want to study together or meet up, if you are in the Chicago area, let me know. We can always do that. Or virtual studying, I guess we could study through Zoom and you can ask questions and I can ask you questions. So yeah, I believe that's about it for this video. I just wanted to make a short video, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you want to know how to prepare for any other classes, let me know. I have taken majority of the prereqs for medical school. I'm only missing Physics 2 and Organic Chem 2. So if you need help with those, I can't really help. Again, I could try to help guide you as best as I can, but I'm not really sure about those courses. I've also taken Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. And I think I got a B in Calculus 1 and an A in Calculus 2. So could be of some use. I haven't seen the material in a minute. Like, I think it's been maybe like 4 years, 3 to 4 years. So I might be a little rusty, but yeah, if anyone ever needs any help, reach out to me. Comment down below. Yeah, so stay tuned for more pre-med videos. See you all later.